I thought I'd put a very quick video together about colours, because actually Pico-8 of course only has the 16 colour palette sitting there, but it's a fantastic palette, and actually in terms of your games I think the colours go together extremely well, and it was well thought out when it was put together. But it's quite important to know how to use the palette effectively. And there are two commands I'm just going to talk you through in this particular video. It won't be a very long one because these commands are relatively straightforward, but they can save you a huge amount of time later on when you're actually programming. So let's look at this. Let's say I have got a situation where I have some sort of alien invader that is attacking my game. So I'm going to put these things together like this. I'm just going to attempt to draw something. Okay, and put some eyes in there. Knock that bit off. This is proving, whoops, here we go, we're almost there. We're done. Okay, so we've got some sort of Space Invader sort of graphic, okay, on screen. Now I can draw this thing to the screen quite easily. I just go sprite 1, and let's put it in the middle of the screen, 63, 63. Okay, so if I escape and run, there it is. All right, and let's just clear the screen. Okay, so there it is. Now one thing of course straight away that's a bit bizarre is if I clear the screen to say color 4 and run it, you can see that the eyes and bits and pieces of this particular character are now picking up the color from behind, and that's because black traditionally is transparent. But let's say these eyes, I really wanted them to be black. Well, in that case I could use a really useful command called palt, or palette transparency, and I can set any color in the Pico-8 palette to transparent or to solid. So I'm going to set color 0, which if we look over here is black, color 0. I'm going to set color 0, and I'm going to set its transparency to false. And if I run it now, there you can see I have a black background. So my black has become not transparent, it's become solid. But this is a problem because obviously I wanted these black eye bits, but I didn't want the rest of it. So I'm going to choose a color I didn't need, this one, and I'm going to fill in the background like that. Okay, maybe that's a little tricky to see, so I'm going to use this color instead. So I've used this pink color here, which when we look down at the bottom is color 14, and I've filled in color 14. So if I run the code, there's my pink background. But what I can also do is I can say palt 14 is true. In other words, I'm saying, if I can spell the command word correctly, I'm saying make color 14 true. So if I run it now, there I have a Space Invader with black eyes and no pink background. Now this is really, the Space Invaders idea is a silly one, but if I give you, well, it depends on your take on Space Invaders I guess. If I give you a better example, let's take a little character here that we've got. Okay, some brown hair like this, some eyes, maybe a little body, okay, a couple of hands there, and some blue jeans. Okay, so there is a character possibly from a game or something like that. So I'm going to draw SPR2 at position 40, 40. So I'm just sticking it on the screen. So there it is. Now note straight away that the black background is sitting there, and that's because I've made this color black, the transparency false, and I haven't reset it. So I can come into here and I can reset everything to the original. And now we're back in, okay? But we've got a bit of a problem. This person here, their hair has merged into the background, okay? I realize for many people that's ideal. You don't want your hair to merge into the background, but in this particular instance I'd like this hair to stand out. And I do happen to quite like the idea of black outlines on my characters. I think they can add quite a lot to your game by having a black outline around things. So in this instance I've just got this little black outline round, and now I can go back to the original palette transparencies. Black is solid, 14 is transparent, because I've used the same one here. And now actually I can start to have quite a nice little background on this character. Okay, it can be highlighted like that. It makes the character pop out of the screen slightly. And so a black background around a character can actually graphically be quite useful. And by using the palt palette transparency function, you can enact that. So that's one function I wanted to talk to you about with the palette. The other one I want to talk to you about, and I'll just get rid of this bit of code here and this one, and we'll just clear the screen to normal black. The other one I wanted to talk about is the fact that, let's say I wanted this, I'm going to just put this guy back to black again in the background. Okay, so here is my fantastic Space Invader, but actually I wanted several. I wanted them, you know, I wanted a yellow one. Okay, so there's my yellow one, and I wanted a red one, and I wanted a green one. Okay, so there are 4 different Space Invaders. I'm just going to copy this, paste it over that. 5 different Space Invaders: white, blue, yellow, red, green. Okay, 5 of them from sprite 1 to sprite 5. And I could just draw them, so I could say for I equals 1, 5, do, and I'm going to draw, so I put an end, always put the ends, sprite I, so in other words it's going to draw sprite I equals 1, then 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to start them at position 20, and I'm going to add each time 8 times I. Okay, so I draw sprite 1 at position 28, sprite 2 at position 36, and so on like that. Okay, so if I press escape and run, there they are. Okay, I could, just to get a bit of a gap between them, do that. There we are. Lovely. Okay, problem is, in terms of memory, that's actually a bit rubbish. Okay, well, it's rubbish in terms of memory, and it's rubbish in terms of programming, actually. To draw the same thing 5 times is entirely unnecessary. So, we'll blank them. Okay, let's get rid. We just don't want that. There is our one. Okay, and this time I'm going to go from 0 to 15. Okay, because we've got 16 colors, so I'm going to count from 0 to there. Okay, and I'm going to instead draw sprite 1. I'm going to draw it starting from the left, so I'm going to draw it like this, and I'm going to go 8 times, and also from the top 8 times I. Okay, so if I run it once just like this, I'm clearing the screen, then I'm drawing 15 times the sprite at position 8 times I, so it'll start at 0, 8, 8, 16, 16, like that, all the way down the run. There they go. Okay, did I press escape a bit quickly then? I did, didn't I? Run. Oh, of course, because I haven't got it wrapped in a function. And there you have it. Okay, in fact, I'm going to wrap the whole thing in a function just to stop it quitting that quickly. So function draw, tab them in for neatness always, and end, escape, run, done. Okay, so there are my 15 sprites shooting across the screen. I'm going to use now a really funky function, I do like that, pal, and this enables you to do something called palette swapping, and I'm going to swap one color for another. So I tell it that I want to swap this color, color 7, remember they're always down here, color 7, and I'm going to swap it for whatever the value of I is. So I'm going to swap color 7 for I. Alright, so palette 7 I. Swap color 7 for whatever I is. I is 0, it'll be swapped for black. I is 1, it'll be swapped for dark blue, maroon, dark green, brown, grey, like that. And now, oh, lovely. Okay, and you can see straight away, one sprite, loads of different objects or graphics, all right, that you can put together. Now, you can do this multiple times. So let's say my sprites also have different color, fill there, different colored pincers. Okay, so I'm going to use this grey here for the pincers. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to go pal. I'm going to swap color 8. Okay, no, I'm not going to swap color 6. It's down here. Number 6, which is grey. So 6, and I'm going to swap that for I plus 1. Alright, I plus 1, so it's going to swap for 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be slightly different to this one here. The great thing about the Pico-8 palette is if you feed it number 16, it just rolls around to 0. So this sort of thing where you're making a bit of a mess of things, really, in a small demo like this doesn't matter. So if I run it now, there's my characters with completely different graphics all the way through, which looks quite nice. Where this comes in really useful is something like this. I keep filling and I don't need to. Here we go. It's something like this. Let's put in our standard footballer, okay, with some eyes and a white top, okay, and some yellow shorts and some spindly legs, some spindly arms, and the top is going to have a stripe. Okay, so there's a footballer. Now the stripe for this particular football is pretty gruesome. Okay, tell you what, those shorts are a bit low, aren't they? If anyone played in baggy shorts like that, they'd be in real trouble. Let's give this footballer slightly longer legs and a better pair of shorts. I think it will do for now. There's something glaringly odd about that particular footballer. Looks like some character from The Sound of Music, actually, but never mind. We will plod on with the basic ideas behind things. What I'm going to do, I'm going to draw 15 of them again, and this time I'm going to swap colors 10 and 7. Okay, so we're going to swap colors 10 and 7. I'm going to make the background this rather nice green, color 3. Okay, because obviously they're playing on grass. Some of these will, because I'm doing it for all 15 colors anyway, some of these will disappear into the grass and some of them will look rubbish. But if I escape and run, there is an entire collection of football teams. It enables you with one graphic to create lots of different teams. So you have people playing for all sorts of different teams. Okay, and you can offer this ability in your games to allow players to somewhat customize their graphics, their player. Think of games like Terraria and things like this, where you can just change the color of your coat, change the color of your hair. Well, all of that can be done with palette switching. Okay, so using pal is a great way of fixing that. And when you're finished, just like with palt, you can set it with no arguments and you reset the entire palette to where you were. So that's palette switching. Really, really useful. Great way of getting loads of graphics, but only with a minimal amount of code and a very few graphic objects themselves. Happy programming.